Welcome ladies and gentlemen to another Call of Duty Warzone video. In this video we're going to compare the new CR56 that released with Season 4 to the best long range weapons that are inside Warzone at the moment. These guns are the Kilo, the M13 and the GRAU, and we've also added a few more guns just for reference. For each of these weapons we're going to take a look at the damage drop off distances, the time to kill over range, and of course the recoil patterns to see if the CR56 GALIL is in fact the best long range gun inside Warzone. Just before we go any further, 97% of you have not subscribed to the channel, so if you want to support the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any Season 4 content. The purpose of this video is to find out if the CR56 GALIL is in fact the best long range gun inside Warzone. The statistics from our previous videos seem too good to be true, so we're going to put it to the test against some of the best guns inside Warzone. On the screen here you can see some of the best long range guns for Warzone along with their damage drop-offs and time to kill at those distances. The CR56 has 4 damage drop-off points. There's one between 0 and 35 meters, 35 and 60 meters, 60 to 80 meters, and then 80 plus meters. What's really interesting to see is that the CR56 GALIL has the best time to kill out of all the guns on this list at every damage distance. We even added in the AK-47 for reference, but with its low rate of fire it can't compete with most of the guns on this list. Every stat was taken with every gun with its longest barrel plus the monolithic suppressor just to make sure we can get the maximum damage range out of all these weapons. Comparing every gun at that 80 plus meter drop off point, we have the CR56 at the very top with a 750 millisecond time to kill, then it's the GRAU and the AK-47 at 800 milliseconds, followed by the M13 at 840 milliseconds, the M4 at 940 milliseconds, and finally the Kilo at 1000 milliseconds. So from that table we can see that the CR56 GALIL has the best time to kill at maximum range compared to all the other weapons on the list. But of course we all know that damage is not all we need to take into consideration. We also need to think about the recoil patterns and how these guns perform when you're trying to control them at longer ranges. Just a quick mention, most of these stats have been taken from JGod's video, so if you want to go check that out, link will be in the description. Now let's take a look at the recoil patterns for each of these guns. This is going to be an important factor when considering if the CR56 GALIL is one of the best guns at long range. Just to make sure testing was fair, we compared all of these guns with the exact same attachments. We used the Commando foregrip, the rubberized grip tape, the extended mags 50 or 45 depending on the guns, the monolithic suppressor, and also the largest barrel of each gun. So here we can see all the recoil patterns. We can see the AK-47 firstly with very vertical recoil but with a lot of side to side bounce, and this is what makes it very difficult to use at long range. Next we have the CR56 GALIL, and this has very vertical recoil which is very similar to the GRAU next to it. It does have a bit of a jump in the first couple of bullets, but after that it's very vertical and there's not much side to side bounce. The GRAU is pretty much the baseline standard for recoil patterns in this game. There is a bit of a drift to the left when you start shooting, but after that it's pretty much vertical recoil. Next we have the M4. This has a lot of side to side bounce, but the grouping of the bounce is much tighter than what you see with the AK-47, and that's why the M4 can be used at slightly longer ranges. And for the most part the rest of the recoil pattern goes upwards and to the right. Next we have another long range favourite, the M13. This recoil pattern goes upwards and to the right. Definitely not as much as the M4, which makes it more manageable at long range, and it does have a bit of side to side bounce also. The Kilo's recoil pattern is more regarding the side to side bounce. Vertical recoil is pretty much non-existent with this gun, as we can see. It does shoot upwards and to the left a little bit, but the main focus here is controlling that bounce of the weapon. Guns that have a lot of horizontal recoil, you're going to want to stick to attachments that have a lot of recoil stabilization, and guns that have a lot of vertical recoil, you're going to want to use attachments that have recoil control. So again, we tested those recoil patterns at the same distance just to make sure we're keeping it all very accurate, and once again the CR56 GALIL stands out with one of the best recoil patterns also in the game. So the CR56 GALIL is stacking up to be an amazing gun for Warzone already. Of course, when you're in a game, you want to be able to control the recoil of the gun. You don't just aim down sights and fire it. So next we're going to test the exact same guns again at the exact same distance just to make sure the testing was fair and trying to control all of these recoil patterns. One thing I'd like to mention is that I'm not the best at controlling recoil in this game, so this should be the average for most players. I know some pro players or some better players out there can control recoil much better than this. Now with the AK-47, you can see the grouping is a lot tighter, but it's still quite spread out. And we can see the CR56 is definitely much better at controlling recoil than the AK-47. The GRAU is obviously perfect as a laser beam. It's pretty much the best you're going to get in this game, with the M13 I think being a close second. The Kilo is also very good. I have to mention that I did mess up the recoil pattern on the very right hand side with the Kilo. I was dragging down a bit too much to the left to try and compensate for this, but instead of taking this out, I thought I'd leave it in the video because this is something people might actually do during game. So what we can see here is that the CR56 GALIL has a very similar recoil pattern to something like the M4A1. If you're a more skilled player or if you're playing on PC, you should be able to control this a bit better than what I did. But just recapping what we have here, the GRAU is definitely still the laser beam of Warzone, that's not going to change, followed closely by the M13. But considering how low the time to kill is, especially at range with the CR56 GALIL, and that the recoil control is very manageable, this should still be a really good gun for long range inside Warzone. So you may not land as many shots as you would with the GRAU, but the shots that you do land are definitely going to do more damage. I recommend trying out the CR56 GALIL, is definitely a good long range option for Warzone, but to finally answer the question, the GRAU is still the long range laser beam king inside Warzone. That's until anyway, maybe it gets nerfed, but we'll need to wait and see for that. Before you click off this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Season 4 content like this. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below as it supports the channel and gets it out to more people. And that's all for today's video, and thank you very much for watching.